Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to the Arcane Oracle podcast. This is Elaine, the Arcane Oracle, and it's May 4th, 2025. And I am here to share some astrology forecasts for the beginning of May with you. Wherever you are, thank you for sharing this space with me. And thank you to our gracious hosts, the Eye Opener Society, for all their hard work for this spiritual community. So, Pluto goes retrograde in Aquarius today, May 4th. Get ready to circle back and revisit past issues involving power and transformation, both on an individual and on the collective level. Old projects and disputes will come creeping or even roaring back into focus. Old patterns will reemerge, giving the opportunity for resolution or correction, but also the potential trap of falling back into old, unhealthy storylines. Let's talk about the significance of Pluto in astrology. Pluto represents power, transformation, control. It's often associated with subconscious. It's known for dramatic endings, new beginnings, and spiritual growth. Pluto's energy can manifest as power struggles, obsession, and the revelation of secrets. Pluto spends about 20 years in each zodiac sign, so we call it a generational planet. As such, Pluto influences humanity on the collective level, and its transits correlate with major historical events and changes in collective social attitudes. For example, the French and American revolutions, when Pluto was last in Aquarius during the late 1700s. From now until October, life will get even weirder. During a Pluto retrograde, especially in rebellious and humanitarian Aquarius, corrupt power structures and secrets can be exposed, and this might lead to social and political upheaval. Pluto retrograde is a time for reflection, reevaluation, and breaking down old systems to rebuild stronger ones, especially within the context of collective consciousness and society in general. Therefore, I believe we will see many, many more torrid scandals in our politics and world events, and in particular, we will see the revisiting of old controversies. Old disputes and scandals will be resurrected, and new revelations will come forward with dramatic results and some spectacular downfalls and breakdowns for public figures and for big power structures. In essence, we will see public corruption exposed again and again during this Pluto retrograde season. The key word of this Pluto in Aquarius retrograde 2025, will be zeitgeist. Zeitgeist is defined as the defining spirit or mood of a particular period in history as shown by the ideas and beliefs of the time. I believe that we will discover and define the zeitgeist of this particular historical era and this new Pluto in Aquarius season overall during the months to come, this retrograde between May and October of 2025. Power to the people is the reigning mission statement of Pluto in Aquarius, but history doesn't just merely repeat itself, and neither does Pluto. We won't be repeating the last revolution age, that is, the previous period of Pluto in Aquarius during the late 1700s with the French and American revolutions. Obviously, we don't use muskets and blunderbusses anymore. We no longer travel primarily by horse and coach or by ship, so on, forever and ever. Times have changed, obviously, but there will be repeating cycles. There will be repetitions. And I am quite certain that we will be facing massive structural and social changes and our own kind of revolution. Nonetheless, on an individual level, look at what house Aquarius occupies in your own birth chart. Pluto will trigger a plot twist in the form of upheavals, reconnections, and most importantly, realignment in the areas of your life ruled by that astrological house. Prepare yourself for delays, setbacks, and frustrations. Pluto will undoubtedly trigger insecurities or inner misalignment regarding personal power issues. Obviously, beware of temptations to engage in power struggles. Let go and let them will serve you much better than standing on business this season. Expect obstacles and practice patience. You never know how bad luck might turn out to be good luck in disguise, and you may not see it clearly until October or even later this year. Above all, listen to your intuition. Learn to discern your intuition from your anxiety, because your intuition is your personal power and guidance system, and Pluto retrograde wants to help you strengthen it. Watch out for signs, omens, synchronicity of all kinds. There will be spiritual messages and guidance available in abundance if you are brave and focused enough to tap into it. Pay attention to the subtext in your life. If you see repeating numbers, have recurring dreams, hear repeating messages in music or random conversations, if you stumble into uncanny or weird situations again and again, you get the drift. Pay attention to your own perceptions and insights too, that nagging thought or the feelings that you just can't shake. I recommend keeping a journal for this purpose during this season, because you might be astonished by the connections and patterns that emerge if you have the foresight to track it. So, Aquarius is ruled by both Saturn and Uranus, and Saturn is ending his visit in Pisces with the North Node and forming a sextile, like a friendly conversation aspect, with Uranus and Taurus. So, with this energy, spiritual, psychic, and mystical energy, it's flowing in abundance during this time. And some of us might even have some spooky, supernatural, or deeply transformative spiritual experiences as well. This is a great time to refocus on your spiritual practices, because having a strong connection to your spirituality and to divinity will absolutely help you make the most out of this Pluto retrograde season. And another quick side note. So Saturn, like I said, ending the visit in Pisces, and I believe on May 25th, yes, the end of the month, May 25th, Saturn is going to pass into Aries. Now, Saturn is the Lord of Time. He is the karmic taskmaster. He is immediate practical and material structure in our life. It's our obstacles and our limitations. You get the picture. So this is a big deal. Saturn is ending his time in Pisces. Pisces is the sign of mysticism, and it's also the sign of endings. So spiritual transformations, final endings, unfortunately, death, as well as self-undoing, but also rebirth and alignment, transcendence. The final degrees of Pisces, with Saturn there, many of us might encounter final endings. Okay, so relationships might end, current routines or commitments, that is, contracts, obligations, might come to a sudden end. For some of us, it may not be so sudden. It might be foreseen. But yeah, I think that this will also extend to a collective level as well. So watch out between now and the 25th of May, guys, because either on like big picture, like current events and world news stage, we might see some really big final endings, especially of authority and power structure systems. And some of us might intimately, personally experience the endings of commitments, of limitations. Some of us might be freed from some long-standing obstacles or limitations, or endings of relationships and of commitments. Okay, so that was just a side note there with Saturn going through the final degrees of Pisces. I've heard the 29th degree, the anaretic degree of Pisces in particular, by some astrologers referred to as the degree of tears, which means it's the degree of losses, bereavement, and all of that. So just be warned, guys. Be careful out there. All right, so moving on. On Wednesday, May 7th, Mercury will embrace the wounded healer asteroid Chiron. So approach this day cautiously and with patience, beloveds, because events and communications might trigger old wounds, old traumas. However, this aspect opens the potential for profound healing, deep, profound healing, especially psychological or spiritual healing. But this can also extend to physical or relationship healing too. You might experience an aha moment, a eureka moment of clarity about a sore spot in your life, or you might finally find the strength to break free of an old toxic pattern. Also, you might find yourself in the unique position to help somebody else find healing, closure, and/or peace. Don't miss that chance, because Pluto in retrograde will certainly not overlook your good deeds in his great karmic dance this year. So thank you so much for listening, beautiful souls. Remember, if you would like to get your own personalized, accurate, authentic, and affordable psychic reading with me, the Arcane Oracle, give me a call or send me a text at 765-739-0278, 765-739-0278. And you can also find my menu of readings at elainesarcanetarot.com. Thank you again to the Eye Opener Society for hosting me and for supporting my work. I am eternally grateful to you. I will be back later this month with a forecast for the full moon in Scorpio coming up on May 12th. Stay safe and take care, beautiful souls.